Let's talk about this father-daughter dance in this Louisiana prison. All right, I'll share the story. It's from the BIN. A heartwarming video captured the Louisiana State Penitentiary's first ever father-daughter dance, where prisoners reunited with their children for a night of dancing inside the walls of the nation's largest maximum security prison in Louisiana. How about that? Okay. According to CBS News, Leslie Harris recently reunited with his 17-year-old daughter for the dance while he's serving a decade-long sentence for armed robbery. Harris reportedly wore a custom tuxedo and held a bouquet of roses to greet his daughter for the special night. Video shared on social media shows the two embracing and dancing to Stevie Wonder's "Isn't She Lovely?" That's kind of cool. For those that don't know, Stevie Wonder wrote that song about his daughter, so it's appropriate for a father-daughter dance. All right, moving on. Harris said he cherished the Louisiana State Penitentiary's first ever father-daughter dance, as he is expected to miss several of his teen's major life moments, including prom and graduation. Quote, "Seeing her in a dress, crying and running to me just broke me down," unquote, Harris said in a phone interview. Goes on to say, "It made me think of all the years I missed out in her life," unquote. The event is part of a growing trend of father-daughter dances inside U.S. prisons, including one featured in last year's Netflix documentary, Daughters. Officials said they hope to make the dance a tradition at the notoriously tough lockup, which houses more than 6,300 prisoners, including dozens on death row. The dance was organized by God Behind Bars, a group that hosts reunification events in prisons nationwide. Assistant Warden Anne Marie Eastley said nearly 30 inmates were selected to participate in the dance based on good behavior. The men practiced a surprise line dance for weeks. Harris said his most emotional moment came during their slow dance to Butterfly Kisses. I like that song too. That's a country song, but it's a really pretty song. Before the night ended, Harris gave his daughter a Bible with highlighted passages. Quote, "That's really the heart of it," unquote. Jake Bodine, the founder of God Behind Bars, said in a statement. Goes on to say, "Show these individuals who's counting on them, and once they realize the weight of that, they will hold themselves accountable for change," unquote. Okay. You want to go first, Q, or you want me to go first?
I can go.
Go ahead.
Years ago, my older brother was being held awaiting trial, and there were no visiting hours. And I was in Michigan visiting my mom, and I wouldn't be back to see him before he went to trial. So a family friend knew the county sheriff. The county sheriff got me personally escorted in to see my brother. And in those conditions, it's rare that you get to see someone light up. So I heard you describing this man seeing his daughter and the duplicative nature of being so happy to see her and her being so beautiful. And, his daughter, I'm sure, has grown up so much since he's been away. And it's that. And then but then after this dance, she goes back and she only gets to see me in prison. And this moment, as beautiful and lovely and heartwarming and emotional as it is, it's both joy and pain simultaneously. Because it was like when I walked in there, he couldn't have expected a visitor at all. It wasn't visiting. Nobody could have visitors on this day. And he for sure didn't expect it to be me because I didn't live in Michigan anymore. And we couldn't hug. We couldn't embrace. We couldn't share a space. We had to talk through glass. But it was really, really good to see him. I know it was really, really good for him to see me. And all these years later, there's holidays, there's birthdays, there's celebrations. I became a dad while he was inside. His baby brother became a father while he was inside. And he loves the niece and nephew that he's never met yet, and they love their uncle. So all I can think about is the duplicative nature of you're feeling both emotions, but not one at a time. You're feeling them at the same time. He's proud of his baby brother for becoming a father. He loves his niece and nephew. He thinks that they're so beautiful and so smart and misses them and loves them, but can't get to them. And the same with his children, the same with our mom as she's going through all of her health issues. So I think about all these fathers that don't get to be present. I think about where we who are present might fall short sometimes or feel like we're not being super father or not checking every box and not doing everything right. I have those questions myself, and I can go to my babies anytime I want. So I cannot imagine what that feeling is like when you can't do that. And this prison, someone there was a human being. Even if just for a few hours on one day, someone was a human being and said, hey, these fathers matter to their daughters. No matter what picture society has tried to paint of them, they matter to their daughters, they matter to their family. Let's let them do something nice. Let's let them have something because every day feels hopeless. Every day, the world has taken everything from them, even for people who think they deserve it because they committed a crime. It's not always that cut and dry, man. And we like to ignore the nuance. We like to ignore the humanity. It's easy to label people criminals because then you
Yeah.
don't have to toil with everything they go through every day. You get to just tell yourself they did the crime, so they deserve it. So this is a complicated story to me because as much as it's heartfelt, well, no, heartfelt is the description. It's just whether it's positive or negative depends on who you're talking to and in what moment.
Yeah.
As amazing as that hug felt and seeing his beautiful daughter in her dress and grown up, imagine when she left.
Yeah. Um, One of the things I learned, working in this space, these past years with you is to see the humanity in prisons and to see these people not just as folks who did crimes and made mistakes. Trust me, if somebody did some wrong to me, somebody stole something, whatever, I would want them to be punished. Their rules, all that sort of. I recognize that. I'll see that entirely up front. But I've also learned to see how systems fail these individuals too. A lot of the people that are imprisoned are historically marginalized peoples in this country, um, and overwhelmingly disproportionately poor. So a lot of the crimes were crimes that presented an opportunity for these people to advance their fiscal standing because there was no real alternatives to that, right? In their youth or whatever time of life. A lot of these people were in desperate situations. A lot of these people were probably greedy. They had enough, but they wanted more, all that sort of stuff. But, you start understanding that not every story is just an awful person that finally got caught. Some of these people are people that they didn't want to choose the life that they ended up living. That's just kind of the best they could do with what they had. And then they kind of lean more into it once they become institutionalized, and obviously that limits their prospects for growing beyond those confines. But that led me to interpreting the mission statement of prisons in this country not as places people go to be rehabilitated and to pay the debt to society, but as something that is meant to capitalize off of these individuals. We have for-profit prison systems in this country, and these people work while they're in prison. So it's an evolution of slave labor, right? The 13th Amendment allows for that. And in this country, we have so many people in prisons relative to the population when compared to other countries around the world. I was watching a story recently about a man who has it's called a whole life sentence in England, in Great Britain, or the UK. The UK is it. So they call it whole life sentence, but basically it's a life sentence. You're going to be here for your whole life. Over there, they have 70 people total serving whole life sentences. Over here, we have rather more. And even when you adjust for like what is effectively, a life sentence, let's say 20 years plus, I think they have somewhere in the neighborhood of 10,000. We have 200,000 life sentences, right? And so you can see how we're failing our citizens there.